Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to take the time to talk about possible new content for Phase 5. Now, Phase 5 will be very interesting to see, one, how long it takes. I talked about that yesterday in that video on dates that we could see for Phase 5. And two, just how much they want to give us. Because Phase 5, especially in SOD, comes to a really weird question of, is just BWL, Blackwing Lair, enough for it? And we'll definitely see what the devs have in store for us pretty soon. But before we get into the video, just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder that me and the SOD Saviors will be attempting our first Heat 3 clear of Molten Core, and that's going to happen on Tuesday, August 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you guys can catch it live at twitch.tv/Kaghoe Gaming. So I hope you guys all take the time to stop by and check it out. It is going to be pretty exciting. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. So the biggest questions that I have for Phase 5 and what we will see with BWL is the form Blackwing Lair is going to take. And what do I mean by that? Well, one, probably the biggest question is, are we going to see like a darkness system similar to the heat system, where we need to hit a certain point of shadow res or our characters succumb to darkness? I think the theme is there. They do shadow flame attacks. Nefarian's all corrupted by that shadow flame. They even built on it in Dragonflight and Retail about how like potent corruption is with shadow flame and stuff like that. So like the narrative for it to be that potent in there is possible, and the shadow res gear also exists already, so it makes sense to me, at least, like it's something we could pursue. Or even if they don't use shadow res as the threshold, just a variable difficulty system where they just make, the higher up you go, the more season of mastery and mechanics go into the game, and you don't have to lower your character's power level by using this shadow res gear, which was probably the biggest complaint that I have seen about Heat 3 and what people are doing with it. Anyway, the next point is, will Blackwing Lair be a 20 or 40-man raid? Now, there's been tons of going back and forth about this, whether they should do 10, 20, 40-man raids. They gave us 10-man raids for Phase 1 and 2, and I think those went very, very well. I always saw tons of pugs happening and people doing a lot of those. Once it got to 20-man, I didn't see too many Sunken Temple pugs in Phase 3, as well as the difficulty of Sunken Temple is something to talk about, too, for that. It just made it really difficult and very pug-unfriendly, on top of having to get 10 more people on top of it. However, once we got to 60, MC at 20 feels really fun, really enjoyable. I have had a blast with it. But what they could do is have it scaled to 20, like they did with Zergos, Kha'Zix, and Onyxia, and allow 40 members in. This is an idea that I have seen thrown around on the forums, because apparently Molten Core at the start had this applied to it, but not many people knew about it, and they did end up fixing it in like week 1 or 2 of Molten Core, and it just leads you to question like, I wonder if that could be the future. I personally see nothing wrong with it, especially as long as, you know, like there's a challenge to it. Like for Molten Core, for example, I would love to see it, people be allowed to do it for Heat 1, but when we go to Heat 2 and Heat 3 and there's additional rewards, I think a lot of those mechanics can be cheesed by just having more people, and it would almost guarantee that you could kill the boss with 40 players. So it'd be really interesting to see where Blizzard stands on that and what they have planned with that, because to me, I wouldn't like that if there's an added challenge or any harder modes to it. But if it's just BWL, you're just getting 2 pieces, 3 pieces of gear per kill, I don't see a problem with letting people take 40 people if they really truly want that classic 40-man raiding experience. The next point is, will BWL loot be overhauled similar to Molten Core? And will a certain sword called Thunder Fury, the Blessed Blade of the Windseeker, will it be getting its buff? Because as it stands right now, while yes, Thunder Fury is just slightly better than some of the scaled up Molten Core gear, if for a legendary weapon and what they did with the Sulfuron Hammer, I definitely think they need to juice Thunder Fury up just a little bit, make it better. It's still an amazing weapon, and it'll still probably be BIS for most classes, but it needs a pump up because the hammer got a pump up, and you know, it's a legendary weapon. It should be better than every weapon there. You need 100 Arcanite bars to get it, which is like 3k gold right now if you just bought them all off the AH. So it is kind of crazy. And I think, yes, I think they're going to have to rework all the gear. The only gear that might just be powerful enough is Naxxramas gear. That stuff is so juiced. Like, it is so good that you can go straight into phase 4 of, and sorry, it was called phase 4 originally, but you can go into the 70 first tier raids like Girl's Lair, Mag's Lair, and Karazhan. You can go into those with your tier 3 Naxxramas gear. That's how powerful that gear is. So like a whole nother expansion later, you can use that gear, and some of those pieces you use the entire phase. Like there's some very powerful trinkets and like set bonuses that you don't change for a very long time, and it's kind of crazy. So Naxxramas gear would probably be the only one that I would say doesn't need to be changed. Next, I want to talk about additional Phase 5 possibilities. So those are all the concerns I have for Blackwing Lair, where we could see it going, what they have in store. But here are some other things that people have sort of been asking, talking about in my comments, forums, stuff like that. Will ZG be launched with Blackwing Lair? I personally think no. I think ZG could be Phase 6 very easily. It has a lot of powerful gear, and like such as Bloodvine for all the casters. Like that gear is insane. Even if it's not scaled up very much, it is still insane. It pretty much gets you hit capped and gives you a lot of spell power. Looks hideous, and I hate being in it, but it's really powerful nonetheless. And so I think ZG can definitely be like Phase 6 all by itself, especially if they paired it with a new event or new like dungeon or something. And most importantly, ZG is already scaled to 20, so they don't really have to do a lot of work for it. It can be like just straight up thrown in there. I don't know if Season of Mastery changed ZG mechanics or not. I'll definitely have to look into that, but ZG can definitely stand on its own. I don't think it should be launched with Phase 5. Next point is, are we going to see new profession quests, gear, just new profession anything? Because upon hitting 60, they just kind of forgot about it, I guess. They just didn't do anything with it, and it was awesome. I enjoyed it a lot, at least, in phases 1, 2, and 3, having those epic profession quest lines, going out there and getting the gear. It actually felt like a journey and felt like something where you were utilizing your profession. It gave value to like enchanting, to alchemy, to engineering. It made it to where you didn't just go engineering and, you know, one other profession. You had a lot of choices, and those choices gave you power. And just alchemy, I feel bad for everyone who leveled alchemy, really, because it had stuff in phase 1, 2, and 3, and then here in phase 4, it's just been left out to dry. It's just a pure profit profession. It doesn't actually bring any power to your character, and so if you're doing the high-end, top-tier rating, it feels very detrimental to your character. Then the next thing I want to talk about is the Zone of Azshara. So I'm going to pull up my map here, and Azshara is right here, just north of Durotar. And Azshara, for the most part, pretty much only has the Zergos in the end game. It doesn't have too many quests. It's great for fishing, but that's about it. So I think Azshara is a pretty much land of untapped potential. There is so much that they could do with Azshara here, and you know, maybe we get a new PvP event for Azshara. Maybe we get a new dungeon for Azshara. There are two storylines that I think could be very appealing. One, we have a bunch of Naga all over the ruins of Eldorath and the Bay of Storms. They're all over this area, so you very well could make a 5-man dungeon here, or even a raid if you're feeling really ambitious. As well as there are a bunch of Timbermaw here, and it says Timbermaw Hold here, so it's like a tunnel to Timbermaw Hold, but we know Timbermaw Hold is all the way up here, so I guess it could just be a giant tunnel under the ground. But how cool would it be if we have a 5-man dungeon, or a new raid even? Obviously, new raid would be insane, and that could be a whole video on its own, but we have a new content here that uses this ginormous gate as an instance. And when we complete this instance, the corrupted timber moths say, hey, let's retreat to Mount Hyjal. As you can see here, this gate kind of fits right here. It like goes in between the cornerstone of Azshara to Dark Whisper Gorge to Mount Hyjal, which is right here in the middle. So they retreat to Hyjal, and they give us a little hopium, a hint that we're going to get Hyjal in Classic, because Hyjal is the one zone that actually is there. It is actually semi-complete. They designed it. They put it in there. If you use the Whimsical World Warper here, you can actually teleport to Hyjal. So it is pretty crazy to get there, and it would be so awesome to see something new like that. Whether or not that's for Phase 5 or not, I don't know, but I think all of these things could be awesome ideas for Phase 5, and, you know, Agrin, if you're watching, you know, I hope you guys have taken some of these and would like to put them in. But anyway, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.